The series Vikings and Vikings Valhalla showed the world the drama, the love and the wars of Norse heroes. But where can you find their true legacy? Not on a screen, but in places where history still breathes. Here are 7 stunning Viking museums in Europe, where the line between past and present begins to blur. On the shores of Roskilde Fjord in Denmark, 5 Viking ships lie at rest. They were sunk deliberately in the 11th century, scuttled to block a narrow channel and defend the kingdom. For centuries they lay beneath mud and water, silent guardians of a lost age. In the 1960s, archaeologists raised them once more. Today they form the heart of the Viking Ship Museum. Inside the Great Hall you can stand face to face with these vessels. Long, slender warships built for lightning raids. Broad cargo vessels, steady enough to carry traders, settlers and animals across the seas. Each is scarred and broken, yet each still speaks of the craftsmanship that made the Viking Age possible. Step outside and the story continues. Here, shipwrights split oak logs with axes, bend timbers with fire and steam, and hammer rivets into place. Their work produces real seaworthy ships, not models behind glass, but vessels that once again touch the water. And if you choose, you can climb aboard, take an oar in your hand, and feel the pull of the fjord. It is as close as we can come to the rhythm of a Viking crew. Few know that some of the ships recovered in Roskilde were first detected not by divers but by sonar and radar scans of the seabed. Modern science joining ancient history to bring the Vikings back into the light. In Oslo, Norway, rests perhaps the most famous Viking ship of all, the Oseberg. Discovered in 1904 beneath a burial mound, it carried 2 women of high status to their graves. Their bodies lay surrounded by extraordinary treasures, carved sledges decorated with animal heads, a 4-wheeled cart painted and gilded, fine wool and silk textiles woven with patterns from distant lands, and the remains of sacrificed animals, including horses, dogs and oxen, offered to accompany the women into the next world. The ship itself is a masterpiece. Its prow curls into a spiral of wood so intricate it almost seems alive. Nearby stand the Gokstad and Tune ships, each with their own story of voyage and burial. These are not just relics, they are time machines. Step close and you can see the grain of the wood, the marks of the adze, the artistry of hands long gone. The museum is closed now for renewal, but when it reopens as the Museum of the Viking Age, it will present these treasures in ways never seen before. For the first time, we will walk among the ships in a hall designed to echo the power they once commanded. It will be, without question, one of the greatest Viking museums in the world. Far to the north, on the island of Lofoten, lies the Lofoten Viking Museum. Here, archaeologists uncovered the largest Viking longhouse ever found. 80 metres from end to end, it was the hall of a powerful chieftain. Inside its walls, feasts and councils shaped the life of the community, and when the gods were to be honoured, sacrifices and ceremonies filled the air with smoke and song. The museum has rebuilt the hall in full size. Walk inside and firelight flickers against the beams. Shields hang from the walls. Long tables are set with bread, meat and drinking horns. It feels less like a museum and more like stepping through a doorway in time. Here you can taste mead brewed as it was 1,000 years ago. You can row a ship across the fjord, or try on the armour of a warrior. Few visitors know that when the hall was excavated, archaeologists found the bones of horses and objects used in rituals, evidence that this was not only a place of feasting, but of sacred ceremonies linking the people to their gods. In England, beneath the streets of York, lies Jorvik. Once the Viking capital of Northumbria, it was a thriving city of merchants and craftsmen. When archaeologists dug here in the 1970s, they uncovered houses, workshops, tools, and even wooden streets, perfectly preserved in the damp soil. On that very site, the Jorvik Viking Centre recreates the city of 1,000 years ago. Visitors glide through reconstructed streets, hearing Old Norse voices, seeing craftsmen at work, even smelling the smoke, the leather, and the refuse. It is immersive, unsettling, unforgettable. Among the artefacts found here are rare Viking coins, some inscribed not in Latin but in runes, proof that the Norse stamped their language directly into silver. And perhaps the most unexpected discovery of all, the world's largest Viking Age coprolite, a fossilised human excrement nearly 20 centimetres long. Crude though it may be, it tells us what the people of Jorvik ate, and what parasites plagued them. It is the kind of detail that brings the Viking Age closer than any saga could. Across the sea in Ireland, Dublin was once little more than a long fort, a ship fortress. But from that beginning grew a thriving town, a place where Norse and Gaelic cultures met and mingled. Today, Dublinia stands in the heart of the city, built beside Christ Church Cathedral. Here, costumed actors guide visitors through narrow lanes, showing how Vikings traded, fought, and lived. Children learn to strike coins, adults try on helmets, and everyone can feel the weight of daily life in a Norse town. Excavations in Dublin have revealed something more. Skeletal remains show a blending of features, Scandinavian and Irish, proof that these communities did not remain separate, but intermarried and became something new. The Vikings who came as raiders became part of Ireland's people. In Dublinia, that story is brought vividly to life. In northern Germany, near Schleswig, lies Hedeby, or Hythabu. 1,000 years ago, it was one of the great trading centres of Europe. Merchants came from Scandinavia, from the Slavic lands, from as far away as the Middle East. Silver coins, beads of glass and amber, weapons and furs all changed hands here. Excavations revealed entire neighbourhoods, houses, jewellery, weapons and even ships. Runestones speak of its rulers, while hoards of silver dirhams show the reach of its trade, stretching all the way to the Islamic world. It was here, on the edge of the Baltic, that cultures collided and wealth flowed. Beside the museum stand reconstructed longhouses and fortifications. Walk among them, and you walk where Norse traders once shouted their bargains, where children played in the dust, where warriors sharpened their spears. For a time, Hedeby was a true metropolis of the Viking world, until war and fire destroyed it, and silence fell over its harbour. And in western Norway, in the fjordlands of Nordfjordeid, stands the Sagastad Viking Centre. Here, archaeologists uncovered the remains of the largest ship burial in Norway. The Myklebust ship was over 30 metres long. It was burned with its king upon a pyre so vast that the flames could be seen from miles away. All that survived were charred rivets, fragments of timber and the ashes of a funeral fire, unlike any other. From those remains, Sagastad has rebuilt the ship in full. Step aboard, and its scale takes your breath away. The deck stretches out before you like a wooden plane, large enough to carry dozens of warriors to war, or to carry one king into legend. Interactive exhibits and virtual reconstructions show how it was built, how it sailed, and how it burned. Visitors often do not realise that parts of the burial mound still held fragments of the funeral pyre itself. Blackened earth, layers of ash, the echo of a night when a kingdom gathered to watch their leader's final voyage. From Roskilde to Oslo, from Lofoten to York, from Dublin to Hedeby and Nordfjordeid. Each museum is a window into the Viking Age. Together, they reveal a world far richer than raiding alone. The Vikings were shipbuilders and traders, settlers and rulers, poets and craftsmen. The sagas blur the line between history and myth. But in these places, the past is tangible. You can see it, hear it, even smell it. And if you take the oars of a reconstructed ship, you can feel the strain in your arms, the rhythm of the crew, and the pull of the sea. For a moment, you too can touch the world of the Vikings,